Wanna move my feet, wanna drink my wine. 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 Wanna move my feet, wanna drink my wine.
Hey guys, this is a quick preface to my intro for the walkthrough of the Worldwide Corals Coral Farm. I didn't have that much time and I had to make a decision between quality and quantity, so I kind of went the direction of trying to show you as much of the coral farm as possible. I was using a yellow filter and it actually blocked my built-in microphone, so my voice is definitely a little bit muffled, but you can still hear it just fine. If you have any problems, just turn up the volume a little bit. But more importantly, if you're in the Northeast, in the New York, New Jersey, New England area, I just want to let you know that next weekend, June 22nd to 23rd is Reef Palooza New York. This is going to be a huge show, so if you're looking for any kind of corals, livestock, looking to meet some reef aquarium experts or have a good time in general with the reef aquarium hobby, definitely check out reefpaloozashow.net. Unfortunately, I have a reef family obligation, so I won't be there, but I know that you guys are going to have a great time. So without further ado, enjoy this video walkthrough of the Worldwide Corals Coral Farm. What's going on, reef builders? I'm Jake Adams, and I'm back at one of the holiest sites of reef aquarium keeping, and this is, of course, the coral farm of Worldwide Corals here in Orlando, Florida. I'm here for one of the biggest reef paloozas ever, and came here a little bit early so I could spend some time in the farm back there. As you know, I've got this new flagship reef that's going to be exclusively populated with worldwide coral strains, and yeah, it's been going for a little while. Went through the algae blooms, got a couple fish in there. It's doing great. So I'm gonna go back here, take a look around, and do a little window shopping, see what catches my eye, see what we can learn from the staff about some of the new things that they're doing and how the farm has adapted and changed to be a hardcore coral production facility. So yeah, let's not stall any longer. Let's get back into the farm and check out all these amazing corals. So before we go in, I'm just going to give you a slight warning that everything is kind of dim and kind of blue. So I am going system by system, increasing some of the brightness and the whiteness for the video. And we've also got all the flow turned off, just so we can do a lot better top downs of the spot. But if you want to know more of the full details of their lighting spectrum and their flow requirements, definitely check out my previous video. I'll put the link in the description, and then you can really see kind of how they run this place. But let's take a look inside and see what we got here. So the Worldwide Corals farm is concentrated here. There's eight banks, each with 2 tanks. So we've got 16 of these culture broodstock aquariums. And it goes all the way back to the end. This entire place is just tailor-made for farming corals. You've got a staff here dedicated just to looking after everything, making sure all the parameters get tested, all the additives get dosed, and yeah, they just look after everything and farm a bunch of corals. And you'll see in each of these tanks there's some loose groupings of each of the different types of corals, and it's almost kind of blinding just to look at everything and trying to focus on any one thing. What the hell is up with that ginormous rock? What's up with this huge rock, man? So we're just gonna go 2 rows at a time, 2 systems at a time, and just kind of take a look inside and see what grabs our attention. One system I passed over there, I think, is the receiving, where certain groups of corals are actually quarantined and isolated for a little while before they make it into the general population. So this is the first 4 systems, and I can see that there's a lot more acropora concentrated here in this particular aquarium. Well, let's take a little closer look over here. There's some beautiful montes around the side that I want to take a look at. Yeah, there we go. There's a lot of the bumpy nodular monoporas right there. All Palawanensis. Probably got some Kung Pao, some Beach Bomb, some Jaegernaut, all mixed up in there. And the colors are really subtle differences between some of them, so really takes a keen eye to know all of them by heart. So here's the first kind of a acropora system. Looking pretty good. And once again, I've adjusted the lights for better filming. And what's interesting, something new that they're doing here is I think this tank and that tank and a couple others are set up in a lagoonal style. So instead of being egg crate and kind of a frag rack for the entire thing, this is the lagoonal style, and it's just rock, and it really adds a whole bunch of diversity to the lighting and water flow areas inside of each of these systems. But it also is just, it tricks your eye. It's really, really hard to focus in on everything. I swear I'd have to be here for a week, probably a solid week, just to really, really eyeball everything. But I don't have that much time, so man, I don't even know how they keep this organized. There's corals every which way. But yeah, it's kind of a cool, different way to keep your corals together. It looks like we have a nice little army of yellow tangs here to help keep everything clean, probably because of all the rock that's inside. In this system here, looks like we're getting a little bit more into frag territory. There's a whole rack just of forest fire digis over there, maybe some rainbows, and a variety of zoanthids here on this particular rack. You guys will recognize some of those. Ah, wrap. That must be the Reef Palooza haul that's going to be going to the show this weekend. And Acan echinatas, man. I love me some Acan echinatas. Definitely love a diversity of these guys. And another few moon corals, a bunch of stylos over there. And again, you can kind of see the lagoon style arrangement in action here on the third coral flat. There's a little bit of everything, just all over the place. Once again, I have no idea how they find anything in these lagoon tanks. It's like a display frag tank. There's just stuff everywhere. Like I said, I can't hardly even focus. You could do a crazy, crazy scavenger hunt here and just, like, you know, get somebody to find the home wrecker or a weeping willow leather coral, and whoever finds it gets it. Even down in the depths, there's still little sections of corals to be seen and found. Ooh, lordy. So I grabbed Bobby Melton here aside just to tell me a little bit more about this lagoonal style of kind of frag holding and frag display. And so Bobby, how did you guys come up with this, I guess this idea, this method for displaying all the corals in this lagoonal, almost like a display?
Well, we found that corals seem to grow better in our displays than they do on frag racks. So we thought, well, if we just set the tank up as a display, that maybe we could get a little bit faster growth out of things, rather than have to try to grow them on the egg crates.
Right, so you've told me a lot about like culturing and fragging the corals in frag tanks, but you've noticed that in the display tanks, they just grow so much better.
For one reason or another, we've seen that, you know, we put a frag in one of our displays, they grow way faster than a frag sitting on our rack, so.
Very cool. That's a very interesting insight for anyone who's aspiring to be a coral culturist. And as you can see from these top-down shots, it's just ridiculous in here, man. Do you have any favorite corals here?
There's a lot of corals that I really like. I don't know if I could really say one's my favorite over another one.
I asked Josh the same question last time I was here. That's kind of a loaded question.
One of the hardest things to do is to figure out what I want to take home and put in my home tank. I mean, you know, there's just so much, and just deciding which one I ultimately want is difficult.
And these birds' nests really shine in this environment. Just looks so much better on a rock than it does on a base. Got a little Euphilia nursery over here with a huge diversity of specimens. I love that super duper green frog spawn we got there. I see a little bit of Holy Grail tucked up on the, oh, there's a better one, easier one to see here. This is one of the Holy Grails. You got green and orange frog spawn right there. And this is actually one of my super favorites, the orange-tipped green cristata. I believe that's from West Australia. It's like a torch, but doesn't quite get nearly as big or as long as sweepers and sting everything. All right, so this is tank number 7. 7 here, huge diversity of frags. Kind of a hodgepodge. There's a lot of Cyphastria over there. All the different colors. Gotta love that grafted one. And here's a bunch of the different war corals. Man, there's so many different colors and combinations I just can't even keep up. And they still got some love for the green star polyp and for the pipe organ and clavularia. Super neat. Oh wow, some really large Bower Bankies. I love this style right here. It's kind of black with that yellow rim. That thing really pops, and you can see it a little bit more here in this one. For me, this is like one of the Holy Grail Bower Bankies. Really beautiful specimen. And a little bit more Ghanies and alveopora work. Some more moon corals. Yeah, just a beautiful looking frag garden over here. And here we are in the SPS land. This is all the acrofrags. I think it's primarily acropora. I think they recently got a colony from someone and propagated all over the place. Tons of SPS frags. Here's a nice classic worldwide coral strain. It's a kind of a yellow tip austera. I actually already have some of that at the studio, and that's going to be one of the first things that I put into the flagship reef tank. And another look at the acropora section, and some more here on all the LPS and encrusting corals. All right, so now we're getting into the 9th, 10th, and 11th tub full of corals. And now we're getting a little bit more into LPS territory. There's a huge load of Lord corals right there. Got some chalices, some micromusas. Here's a Bower Banky section. So unlike the Lagoon tanks way over there, these tanks right here are super well organized, incredible color. Like this is going to be some crazy broodstock for them in the future. I'm not sure how well you can see that, but that Bower Banky right there is like just beautiful glowing orange. And even some of the often overlooked corals like this Fabi over here, it's got crazy color. Got a little neighborhood here for the bubble tips, and a giant production, a big old spread of Cyphastrias, like a lot of Cyphastrias, chalice corals, and more. But one of my favorite things over here is a little timeout for all the Galaxias. I love Galaxia, man, but they only really get along with each other, and they will sting the bejesus out of anything that that isn't Galaxia, basically. So yeah, here's tank number 9, and in tank number 10, there's that weird micromusa looking coral that I showed you a while back, and it looks like they have a bunch of their I guess rainbow frag plugs ready to go for grow out and for shipping soon. What else do we have here? I mean, there's every coral everywhere. So another big old section of micromusa lords, huge rainbow colonies, some nice Duncan broodstock here, tons and tons of zoanthids, more lords. Here's a really nice rack of zoanthids. I'm gonna slow down and take a look at all of these. It's funny how like sometimes it's easier to see the corals from the opposite side of the tank. More zoanthids. I mean, the diversity here is just like rivals any natural reef. We got a nice little Leptastria section over here. But let me show you one of the nicest corals. One of my favorite corals, if you know me at all. I'm actually gonna pick this guy up. This is a Favites complanata, a branching Favites. Just not only is it an amazing shape, but this one's just got crazy coloration. Look at that thing, man. That's just Psycho Town. Absolutely beautiful. These guys, they actually have crazy sweepers that only come out in the dead of night. So this is probably why this guy is like perched way up here. But man, look at that color. I hope that's really coming through. God, If this was for sale, man, I'll pick it up. I'm gonna have to ask about this guy. That's just beautiful. And also not a really great coral to culture because it doesn't grow very fast. And yeah, it probably takes a long time to develop all those branches. Yeah, we've just got a token anemone colony here. This tank is probably like 3 feet at the base, and it looks even taller than 3 feet high. So it might be 3 by 3 by 4. Nothing but bubble tips. Lots of bubble tips and clownfish. I believe this was at the store for a little while. You know, I've got some assorted frags here, but this tank is all about the anemones. All right, so enough for the detour. Here's this tank. Let's see, and we can count 11 and 12. The 11 and 12 here on the coral flats at the Worldwide Corals farm. And yeah, just a huge diversity. We've got a little bit of a lagoonal section over here, dominated by monoporous spongotes. There's spongotes, there's spongotes, there's spongotes, there's spongotes over there. And I believe there's some tucked in over in that far corner. So let's see, we've got some SPS corals, a bunch of Australian acrofrags growing out, a freaking legion of monoporous spongotes, and definitely one of the best beginner stony corals you could possibly pick up. This is the Echinopora, maybe the sprung stunner. That's a common or popular one. Looks like that's all bird's nest, kind of a nice green tip Calliandrum bird's nest. So as I was saying, I just came across another leather coral that I really like. It's this one right here. This kind of has the green base with the light white polyps. I actually picked up a piece of this at Reef stock many years ago, but it kind of got lost in the shuffle when I moved a couple times. So I'm definitely gonna have to put my name on a future frag of that. It's not all about the, ooh, that water's kind of cool. It's definitely a little cooler to the touch. And then over here, there's a ton of euphyllias. I just never get over euphyllias. They're so much fun, always flowing. This looks like a nice hammer coral section. We've got the green, we've got the gold, we've got the multicolor. Over here, oh my goodness, look at all these storage corals, man. Oh my God. They're mostly uniform in color, varying shades of green, but like, I don't know, that's gotta be like 80 to 100 frags of glabrescens. Look at all that, you guys. And that's just this section. I'm pretty sure there's more like tucked in different areas, not to mention their display tanks. Let's see, we've got some hero coral, Turbinaria hieronensis, some platygyra, some true platygyra, goniastria. Let's see, that's a whole rack of Jedi Mind Trick. And here's a closer look at the hammer coral section. Beautiful, beautiful. Super neat. I love these little fungia trees. You can tell that's the skeleton from an old fungia with some little baby fungias on it. There's a few more right there. Yeah, we got a pretty good look at this one. So it's time to check out another system. All right, now we are going down tanks 5, 6, 7, and 8. All right, so what is the main event in this particular aquarium? Looks like there's a bunch of utter chaos, and another one of those fantastic chalice corals over there. Another one here. We got another big Lord collection, but this is probably, like the last time I was here, one of the most interesting things here. It's again, I'm not sure if it's a Micromusa or Goniastria, but it comes in like all these crazy colors, varying shades of orange, yellow, green, red, everything in between. This one right here with kind of the dark mouths, that's particularly special. That's really cool. So this is a new rootstock. Oh, and that one right there, holy crap, man. It's really kind of like yellow with dark interior. Love that coral. God, those corals are awesome. I don't know what else to say about them. But this is the species that they're using to make the multicolor combos that I'll show you in here in some of the later tanks. Oh, lots of beautiful chalices. Man, I'll tell you what, there might be a ban on corals from Fiji and Indonesia, but you wouldn't know it hanging out here at Worldwide Corals. What was it that caught my eye? Oh yeah, that Inferno. Is it the Inferno or Hellfire? Hellfire style chalice with red mouths and a red rim. They've even got some love for the Hydnophora. That's cool. It's got some nice metallic green polyps. Yeah, still got some room. Looks like this is where they keep a small section of frog spawn. We'll see an area of torches and hammers a little bit further down. And there it is once again, the lagoonal style tank. Holy moly, man. Look at that. Look at that. There's even like a yellow not really green, but yellow elephant ear mushroom down tucked in there. It's kind of a blue elephant ear tucked down in there. Some crazy sun polyps, Duncans, holy crap. But just once again, this whole lagoonal style reef tank or frag display is just blowing my mind. Blowing my mind. I'm like literally discovering some of this stuff with you guys as I'm filming. Looks like we got a nice watermelon alien eye chalice right there. Little grouping of acan echinatas, the true acan. Little flower pot down in the corner, another little Euphyllia spot. Super nice, super nice. So this is tanks 9 and 10. It's just ridiculous over there, man. Look at that. Look at all that. And again, with some really nice looking bird's nests. I think that's a ponape right there at the top. Just a beautiful species with green and pink tips. Super cool. All right, so now we're getting into the home stretch with tanks 13, 14, 15, and 16. The last time I was here, there was actually no coral in these tanks. I think they had water, but they weren't really going quite yet. And as you can see, these are actually loaded to the very surface with all kinds of various corals. We're still back at the kind of the standard frag rack display, and just a huge diversity of corals. We've seen some of these before, especially these stunning rainbow Micromusa lords here. All different colors, just all kinds of rainbows. We've got to have the bread and butter bird's nest, a bunch of Cyphastria, Leptastria, Samacora, and yeah, it looks like they've been shuffling a lot of corals over here as well. You can see everything is very well organized, unlike those lagoon tanks way over there. Yeah, so a little bit more stuff. Oh, here's one of my super favorites right there, the red Dioceras. I know that Vic's been growing that one from like the tiniest little sliver, and it's actually quite impressive how much of it he's been able to propagate in a short amount of time. Some more war corals, some more encrusting war corals here. Got some rainbows, and then the Goniastria australiensis. This is actually a big stinger, which is probably why it's tucked over here on this side. Oh, we gotta go check out. There's another stash of acan echinatas. This is one of my all-time favorite corals. Just, it gets so bright. Those oranges, whether it's solid orange or orange edged, and green mouths and green markings, just a really sensational piece of coral. And then we have two more frag vats to check out. Whew, man, I'm starting to get a little burnt on checking out all this fire coral. I need a break here soon. But yeah, just really wanted to take you on this unfiltered tour of the Worldwide Corals Farm, because as you might know, they have a new facility that they're going to be setting up soon, and it's possible, maybe even likely, that they're going to have to move this entire farm out of this particular area and getting it into the new place. So here we have a bunch of overflow zoanthids, more montes, and I'm just going to kind of come back around to a beautiful green polyp leather coral. So nice, so much niceness. Just keeping track of all these names is virtually impossible. I've got one more treat for you guys. As if Victor didn't have enough to look after all these tanks. This is technically Victor's reef tank, right? So this is what they actually call it. We've got a Kessel and a Radion. Not sure how they're running it. Last time I was here, it just had like a few really choice corals. Oh my goodness. Actually, you know what? I'm thinking I'm gonna have to stop it there. This pink semi-plating acropora on top is just really sensational. Look at that. Coral's just growing out of every single corner. We've got some instructions for people not to touch, so I'll be sure not to stick my hand in this particular aquarium. It's funny, with such an amazing collection of corals, that Victor still find things to have a personal attachment with. Holy crap! Look at that! Look at that lithophyllon right there, yellow-orange with the green tentacles. Just really sensational freaking piece. Wow, what a whirlwind tour here at the Worldwide Corals Farm. I am actually just winded thinking about all the corals that I saw. I hope you like this quick and dirty kind of walkthrough of the facility. These guys never cease to amaze and impress me with their coral abundance, diversity, fragging, not to mention having their hands full with moving to a new facility and putting on Reef Palooza. So really want to thank Worldwide Corals for having me out here, bringing me to the farm, Bobby for holding the camera, and making sure we can put together a really cool, exclusive, personal experience for you guys. So if you have any comments, go ahead and post them down below, and I'm sure the Worldwide Corals team will be happy to answer them. Give it a thumbs up if you like it, subscribe, because we're going to have a lot more videos coming soon, both from Worldwide, from Reef Palooza, and from the Solomon Islands. So thanks again for tuning in. We'll catch you guys on the next episode.